Hello and welcome to TableTalk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, make sure to follow them on whichever podcast service you prefer. And come back every Friday for another upload. Now, back to the boys.
I enjoyed Pokemon 5e for what it was.
Yeah.
I think with the whole Pokedex that's in there, it's pretty well balanced. It's pretty fun. I mean, actually, I don't know if it's well balanced. We didn't get that far.
No.
But I had a whole arc plan for you guys. I wanted to go get through this one arc where, there's just corruption in the city. There's basically Pokemon, underground black market Pokemon dealing going on. You guys are figuring that out. In my region, I made up. And then following that, you guys were going to, go on a whole long quest to different cities and get badges and stuff if you could.
Oh.
Train in all the different cities.
Would have dominated those gyms, man.
And then, I wanted to, at some point, have an actual, Pokemon war or something start for some reason. Way later on.
Bunch of shadow Pokemon.
You guys start learning
around.
about a secret team that's under the top rating here, and they actually start a mini Pokemon war in only this region or something.
Well, yeah, because we were police. We were international police officers.
Yeah, you were Interpol
Yeah.
members. I mean, that was
That
cool.
was fun. That was fun. Didn't we have to go, ask for a glass of water or something, and they let us into their secret base?
Yeah, you had to, at a bar, you had to ask for a way in, and I had, what was his name, Clint?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, you guys had, or Clint or Cliff, or something like that.
I feel like it was Clem, but maybe that's wrong.
The
Clive?
guy with the pink
Clive!
tuxedo.
It was
Clive.
Clive, yeah, he had
Yeah.
that. Well, they were different colored tuxedos. He showed up with a lime green one, remember, as well.
Oh, he did.
He's going to show up with the other neon colors and whatnot, different pastels and neon colors.
Which, that is bold, showing up in a lime tuxedo.
It's hello, I am International Police.
Undercover, I see.
Well, it made a lot of sense since it was Pokemon.
Well, yeah, I mean, because none of them were, you have, Looper, is that his name? Is it
Looper?
The other International Police, that's canon for Pokemon.
Oh, yeah,
He's
Looker.
Looker. Yeah, Looker walks around, in his full-on investigative man uniform, he's basically Sherlock Holmes all the time, and it's is that guy a detective? I think that guy's a detective.
It's
Hey,
possible.
guy, are you a detective?
No, I just like trench coats.
It's 98 degrees outside. Just stuffing Pokemon in his trench coat.
Yeah, it is. It is 98 degrees. And he's just walking around.
Do you think you
Out
have
of
to
Canada.
dress accordingly if you're a fire-type trainer? Do you think you have to wear, a t-shirt and shorts?
No.
No?
It's not required.
You don't think it'd be, too hot? to hang out with?
Blaine wore a lab coat.
I don't think that's feasible.
Well, it's an anime, so.
Yeah.
Well, to be realistic.
It's an anime where you could do your anime voice. Honestly, that was my
That
favorite
was
part
very fun.
Oh, that was so good.
of Pokemon 5e, because that's what this episode's about now. We're actually we're scrapping the episode topic. We're just going to talk about Pokemon.
I'm into it.
I just love doing my over-the-top anime voice. Go get him! Woo! Monferno! Use Mach Punch!
No, I did like that. The part I really liked was having you guys actually call out your Pokemon commands every turn. So you
Yeah.
have to call out, okay, use tackle again.
There was that one fight just because we were both tanks. Where it was just, tackle! Hit him with another tackle! Go in! Swing him with a tackle! Just over and over
That was funny
again.
because you guys weren't high enough level to have
No.
moves available.
Both level 3 steel types with nothing but tackle and harden. That's all we could do. Which it worked. I won in the end, so it didn't matter.
You did win. It just took ages.
It did.
But I got a lot of XP.
Was that in your actual... See, I did doing the spin on Pokemon gyms where it was oh, this is a Pokemon gym. You're going to train here. You are literally here one-on-one with trainers. You have to pay for an hour-long session to train.
Yep.
That was really cool. And it was intense because I really wanted to beat those idiot rival trainers that thought they were better than us.
I
for
loved
no
doing that because they
reason.
do that in the anime where
Yeah.
it's here's the rival team to Ash and his friends. And I was well, you guys have a rival team. Here they are.
Yeah.
We're a
friggin'
bunch of jerks.
With his Riolu, thought
Yeah.
he was so much
Yeah.
better than my
You
Monferno.
kicked his butt,
I
man.
kicked his ass in.
He thought he was so cool.
Yeah. I soloed it with, I think. No, I threw in Tyrogue for a second, just for fun.
Just to get XP.
Mhm.
I mean, because otherwise you would have had just Monferno getting the XP.
Mm-hmm. He didn't
I
need
like
any.
Tyrogue. He was the best.
Yeah.
With his little helping hand ability.
What's his name? Ollie?
Ollie, yep.
Oh.
He was the underdog.
Ollie was
Solid.
fun. I liked it when you were using him more often, because Monferno, I was like, well, I know he's going to win, because he's the OP. He's the OP one.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm playing like a child might play Pokemon and putting all my levels into my starter. And that's it.
All those adults playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, if you want ideal type coverage, you need to make sure that you're leveling all different types. You need to be ready for the grass gym and the dragon gym and
and that's it. Just
Yeah,
those
that's
two.
it.
Those two.
well, the grass one's super difficult. It's always super difficult.
Oh, yeah. Real rough.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I pumped 8 levels into Monferno and used him the whole time.
Yeah.
And that way when you get to the water one, Monferno can still kill them all in one shot.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Can you? I don't know if it's possible to win a gym just with a super high-powered typing that's vulnerable.
Well, I can tell you from trying to do my type run Nuzlocke, it was very hard to do just one type the whole game. I tried an electric type Nuzlocke, and I ended up dying at like the 6th gym in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Didn't you end up losing to that one random trainer with the Excadrill and a Hippowdon in
Yes.
the second?
Yes, I was just about to get to the gym leader, and this one fucking group of trainers had an Excadrill and a Hippowdon, I think, and then they just whomped my whole team, and I got one Pokemon died, and I went, oh no, I attacked second. Is this it? No, there's no way. And then they just wiped the floor with the rest of my team, and I was like, all right, that was a fun Nuzlocke. That was it. There goes 10 hours of my life.
Yeah. Never putting time into that.
No,
that'd be
I mean,
fun,
it was
though.
a fun challenge. It was a way to make the Pokemon games more fun.
Yeah, well,
Because Pokemon games are for kids, and I'm an adult, and I need a Dark Souls of Pokemon.
yeah.
Which I haven't played yet.
Right.
I'm very excited for my
Pokemon
very
Dark
difficult
Rising.
Game Boy cartridge that I haven't played yet.
Anyways, are you a boy or are you a girl? Because it's character creation time, baby.
I'm a Pokemon.
Welcome to Table Talk Friday. This week's episode is all about character creation. But I want to know how my friends Zachary Carvon and Andrew Romano are doing.
What's
I'm
up, Pittman? I'm doing just great.
Well, I feel interrupted, but I feel sick. I'm here to talk about D&D.
Yeah,
Get
Drew
my
and I had
D&D
a
fix.
bit of a sick week this week, so hopefully this episode is up fully on time.
Sick as heck, you mean?
Sick as heck, yeah. Sick, we were
Yeah,
so
hella
cool.
sick.
So, as far as character creation goes, character creation is, especially when you're a newer player, the most fun part of D&D because you get to actually delve into the creative side of DMing yourself. You get to make your character, your backstory, choose your class, and realistically, if you're playing a long campaign, buckle up because you're playing this character for years. It's going to be intense, it's going to be crazy, and it all relies on what you do around character creation. But don't take that to heart because you can change stuff on the fly later on as you go as well.
Yeah. So, just approaching this from the experienced player standpoint, trying to get people into D&D. What are some of the things that we would look into as a new player starting out? What would be your recommendation for someone who's never played D&D before, doesn't even know what to do to make their first character?
I think if you're brand new and you're really not sure what to do, maybe pick a character that you really like out of maybe a film, a book, or something like that, and then build a character around that. Don't embody, if you pick Batman, don't be Batman. But, you know,
Don't be Woos Brain.
you know what? You do it. If you want to be Woos Brain, you be Woos Brain.
What? He's a shadow monk. He'll multi-class rogue later. I could see it.
Yeah, you throw some shurikens shaped like, bats or something, or like an animal you pick. Just mix it up a little bit, flavor it up.
Woos Brain.
And that would be a great first character.
Yep.
Looking back and be like, oh, you're my first character, Woos Brain. I can't imagine.
I disagree with you a little bit on this because I usually start off character creation for a first-time player by saying, Now, how do you see yourself in this game? What kind of characters do you like? Do you prefer like a bow wieldy character? Do you prefer a magic, like a caster character? Do you prefer an up close punchy fighty character? Starting from there and then working your way back. Like, oh, I really want to hit things hard. Okay, we can work from there. You have a couple of things to choose from. Are you more of a martial artist who uses just your fist? Do you see yourself holding like a giant greatsword and going in with two-handed, like getting these big chops in? Or do you see yourself, two-handing swords and getting in close, getting a couple slashes in and moving away, and then picking their class from there? Sort of going from that and working your way back is my favorite way to do it. Like, okay, end goal, where do you see yourself? What kind of character do you like? What's the coolest thing that you think you can do? And then they choose that. Like, oh, I really want to cast spells. Okay, well, usually I'm not going to let them pick wizard for their first time because wizard is a very confusing class. If they really want to, I've let it happen before. We had Patrick, first time player, actually pick a wizard for his first one, and it was confusing, but he had fun with it. So working your way back that way is usually what I like to do, picking classes from there. And as far as races and stuff go, running them through the races, I don't really attach too much value behind them. I don't say, oh, well, this one's going to get you a +2 in intelligence, so I say go with that. And with all the Tasha's changes that we got, that doesn't really matter anyways. Usually I don't think about it ability-wise. I just say, okay, well, what do you see yourself playing? What would you like to be?
For sure. So, and I think that's a great way to approach it, especially for new players, because I think for all three of us, there was sort of this level of literacy going into it. You don't think about it all the time, but like if you ask me what class I want to play in this fantasy game, I'm like, oh, so what? I could be a warrior, a thief, or a mage. Okay, I'll be one of those. Like, I understand there are these different roles that you can play, but for someone who, as we're seeing very often, most new players that we get, they haven't even played like Skyrim, or like they've got no basis for this sort of thing. I think that's a great idea to say, all right, well, what sort of things do you imagine yourself doing? I would even extend that to, what sort of adventurer would you see yourself as, or we could even do it like a personality test. Like, all right, we'll look up I don't know if they even have one, but like the D&D. What personality is your D&D
Go
class?
and take a BuzzFeed quiz.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? We'll just pick your class.
Yeah, but I think just ways to get people to engage with it and think about it in that sort of way. Like, all right, well, I want my character to reflect on me in some way, or I want to be creative in how I approach it. I think that's another good way. Again, just because D&D is about combat, but there are other elements to it as well that I think, especially for new players, to get them interested and intrigued. Because I know, especially for myself, the thing that drew me to D&D wasn't the prospect of getting into fights and killing things. I do that in video games all the time. But the element of, oh, well, I can do anything in this game, and that sort of is what drew me in. Eventually, I learned that you cannot do anything in this game, but for a new player, it definitely it feels that way at first.
I would agree that having a vision or asking the players, especially if they're new, what they want to play is definitely the primary path. I play with a lot of newer players in my day, and I've unfortunately run into a number of players that lack the creativity after you ask them that to give you anything. And that's when I like to introduce the character idea.
Yeah.
Because it's a great backup and it allows them to get in the mind space of their character without an excessive amount of work or strain. So it's a less creative option, but it allows your players to get into the game quicker if they're having trouble in the character creation process.
Yeah, I mean, I guess saying, like, what's your favorite superhero? Letting them choose there and then making a character. Not necessarily that exact character,
No, don't be Superman, but be a character like Superman.
Yeah, or Mooper San. You don't want to be Mooper San.
I think my least favorite thing about character creation is the stupid names.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
it's the
So
worst.
that does happen all the time in character creation. Can we just talk about that? How, all of us now take it kind of seriously. Where we'll name a character and it's like, oh, I'm Nuth of the Umrazel clan. Or we'll take it seriously. We'll have a very serious name. But our first sessions, when Zach and I were starting, we had Chase who was like, oh, this is just a funny chill game. I'm gonna come into a game where everybody has seriously named characters. I'm Snagglepuss. And we're like, oh, Chase, I can't believe you did that. But it worked for his character.
And he did have the precedent set. We can't forget about Soggy Boy.
Well, yeah, his precedent was set by Soggy Boy. I get that.
but yeah, I agree. And to be completely frank, we're discussing our experience with character creation. But if you're a new player who's listening to this, I think the best way to get into creating your character is to sit down with your DM. I don't think creating a character in isolation is necessarily helpful because you might, you don't have a table yet, but you're just really into D&D. You really want to make a character. You sit down and you think, oh, well, here are all the things that I'm going to do. I'll roll my stats myself, and oh, look, I got 3 18s. Well, no one's going to believe you. They're going to make you re-roll anyway, so you don't want to get married to that. And I think there are a lot of resources out there that are very helpful for creating your character, but they might set the wrong expectation getting started when you're just trying to make a character. I think you should create a character for the campaign that you're going to be playing in, and your DM can sort of help you with that. And discuss, okay, well, you're a new player, that's cool, if you're having trouble, what's your favorite superhero, something like that, just to give you a jumping off point, or to say, well, I think this story is sort of like, this is going to be a campaign that's a lot like Lord of the Rings. Could you picture yourself as one of those characters? What sort of character would you be there? Or this story is going to be a lot like, Shawshank Redemption. Which of those characters do you imagine yourself being? That sort of thing. So I think character creation, when done right, is definitely a conversation between the player and the DM.
Yeah.
Before even you roll your stats, or at around the same time that you do that.
No, I think that's a great point of building to the situation, to the game, to the players, if you will. We're playing in Avernus right now, and if I had chose to make a water-based character with a swim speed and could breathe underwater, spoiler alert, there's no water in hell. So it would have been absolutely useless. Or, if the DM tells you to bring Counterspell and the whole party doesn't bring Counterspell, when your character gets power word killed at the end, you might be a little sad about it. But yeah, just go ahead and build to the situation. Don't build willy-nilly. Give yourself some parameters, some kind of idea of what you're trying to fill, a mold of something to fill.
And your DM might not have any parameters for you to fit in. They might say, yeah, I want you guys to go nuts, do whatever you want. And that's a theme too. That's a prompt. And it's open-ended. But I think it's helpful to just have that conversation before you go ahead and say, oh, well, I saw on D&D Beyond there was this really cool homebrew race. So I've decided to go with a Fairykin. And I'm going to be a blood hunter because I saw that class was on there too. And also, I'm going to multi-class gunslinger, and my AC is 23 at level 1.
That's so much.
Well, maybe you should have talked with your DM because I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, that's something you guys discussed definitely in your first session because there are resources out there that are expansions upon D&D, but different DMs have different rules. We allow anything that's in the official books. So you're not limited to which books really, as long as it's okay, as if it's in the player's handbook, the DMG, Xanathars, Tasha's, all of those official books, Fizzbands. Anything that's in there we allow. But not every table's like that. Some people allow all the Unearthed Arcana stuff. Some people allow different homebrew settings that they made. Some people allow, Matthew Mercer's expansive classes and whatnot. So, really, it just comes down to what is specifically going on at your table. I know we say that a lot, but again, every table is different. We're always going to say that.
Just a question for you guys then. Do you think that your players, let me phrase it like this. When you have a new player who wants to play D&D, do you tell them about all these options that they have? Well, what with, Xanathar's Guide and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and all the stuff? Because as a player who has access to all these resources, I definitely feel like it's my responsibility to say, well, I don't want to, hide things from you. But I think it might, just on a personal note, I think it's a little overwhelming to see, let me bring out 3 different books and cross-reference them. And so you could do this because of this thing from this book, but just read this thing from the player's handbook. Oh, but don't worry about that part, because that was, superseded by the stuff in Tasha's. So
what I would do now is I would pull out the player's handbook and Tasha's, and I would put them through making a character from the player's handbook, and when it comes to stats and whatnot, I would use the rules in Tasha's because I think they're simpler. So saying, okay, you have these options, you get to add +2 to one and 1 to one of them. I'm not even going to tell them, hey, all elves get a +2 to intelligence. I'm not even going to tell them that. I'm going to go, hey, this, geez, you can tell the sickness is still there.
Wonderful.
He's down. Down with the sickness.
I would just say you get +2 to 1, you get +1 to 1, and then use the rest of the racial abilities from the player's handbook. So don't make it too overwhelming. Give them the options in the player's handbook as far as spells go, as far as races and classes and everything go. I would just stick to the player's handbook for the first time because it's all the base stuff. And then whenever they make a second character in the future, whether they do this one just for a one-off and they're going to make a second character later when they have a gist of it, or you let them play this base character for the whole campaign.
Or their base character dies, which isn't unlikely.
Right.
And then you have to make a second one.
And if you want to expand on that more, I would just let them use the options that are in Tasha's because they're cool and powerful. But some of them can be confusing. That's the part I don't like is that we have a lot of really, really cool options and stuff that I've always wanted. We have a psionic fighter now that lets me be a Jedi. Love that. But what I don't like is, it is still overwhelming for a new player, even though 5e is very accessible. Mm-hmm. It's so accessible at this point. A lot of people want to get it, and almost like comic books, you don't know where to start. It's like, okay, well, do I pick up the player's handbook? But my friend said that this Tasha's thing changed a lot of stuff. Do I go with that? So I would start them with the player's handbook.
Yeah. And you know what? Just throwing this out there, Wizards of the Coast, if you're listening, I sure would love...
Sure they are.
Yeah. They better be. I would love a new player's handbook to make this a little bit simpler. There are some products that do some of the hard work for you. The D&D starter kit is nice. It has pre-made characters, so you don't even have to worry about making your own. You can just jump right into the game. And then the D&D Essentials kit has helpful info for that too, to where I don't believe you even have to purchase or have access to a player's handbook, though you can get a PDF of it free online on Wizard's site, I believe. But,
okay.
So there's no excuse not to have one, but you don't need access to all that information right out of the gate if you don't want to. So again, I think it's best to talk with your DM, because it's a lot easier to make a character, to have someone walk you through the daunting task of cracking open the book and saying, oh, well, what do I do? Because, speaking completely honestly, I don't think the player's handbook does a great way of teaching you how to make a character. Yeah. Not in a succinct way. You sort of have to read through all the... at least, the first 3 chapters, all of part 1, pretty much. All of part 1, all the character options, before you fully understand what goes into making a character. And by that point, you've read over half the book. So
way more than is needed for a new player.
Yeah, it's just a lot. So having your DM sit down and say, all right, we're going to make a character, here's what you do, is a lot easier. And on that topic, I think it might be nice to talk about what is our order for...
I was going to say order of operations. I prefer to use PEMDAS whenever, whenever I'm doing my,
I'm more of a Dewey Decimal System kind of a guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess...
Nope, that was self-explanatory. I think we can end it there.
That's it. It's covered everything. For me, specifically, I hate to say it, but I kind of just jump around to whatever I'm feeling. If I'm making my own character, that is. Usually I'll have some kind of a basis of what I want my character to be. And, I know what his class is. Oh, well, what does that mean for... I need this background. Oh, well, if that's his background, it makes sense for him to be this race. And I'll kind of jump around like that. But if I'm walking through a newer player, which is what we're talking about mostly, I would definitely say start with a class, for me, personally, because that's most of the mechanics of what you're starting with. After that, I like to go to the race, because the race is easy to conceptualize for a new character. It's the visual of what you are. This is your avatar. This is who you're playing as, your game piece, And people often vibe with that and they'll get their creativity going. And then after that, you move on to things like, your background, which is a little less important. We've talked about in previous episodes, where it's not as important. It can be worked in more, but it's less important for the newer player.
My stance. So I do have a rigid step-by-step that I go through when I'm creating a character, just because I feel like this is the best way for me. I agree, though. There is a better way for a new player, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I roll for stats. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not even going to think about what my character is going to be until I roll for stats. Because if I get, I really have decided I just have to be a paladin this time, or I have to be a monk. But for those classes, you need at least 2 good stats. You need your, if you're a paladin, you need an attacking stat that's high enough, and you need your charisma to be high enough. If you're a monk, you need your dexterity to be high enough, and your wisdom to be high enough. If you roll kind of poorly, that's not going to be an option for you. You might want to consider, all right, well, I guess...
Now you got to play a bard.
Yeah, I'll be a bard, or I'll be a druid, because that's all I can do. So, that's what I like to do first. If you're at a table where you don't roll stats, though, then maybe you can be a little bit more loosey-goosey with it. It really just depends.
Yeah, we pretty much always roll stats at our table. I've done point buys for NPC characters before, just to quickly get it made. But yeah, I typically always would roll my stats.
Yep, and we do 4d6, drop the lowest.
Yep, and if you get, if we get more than 1 negative, we can re-roll one of them, and then, or if you would like, you can just do a full mulligan, but you have to keep those 6 stats.
Yep, so re-roll everything. You can't keep any of the previous rolls.
Yeah. For me, I prefer to fully conceptualize my character. So what I like to do is I go into it thinking, all right, what am I going to be for this? So, for instance, I made a character recently. When I went in, I was like, I want to be a spellcaster because our team isn't going to have any spellcasters, and I know that. So, I'm going to be a spellcaster, but I'm going to be the most selfish asshole spellcaster I can think of. So, how can I do that? Green Goblin. I'm going to be Green Goblin, except with a jack-o'-lantern for a costume, and I'm going to be Jack-of-Lantern.
Perfect.
And so once I had that concept down, I went, okay, how can I do this? What class is going to work for me? When I came out to that, I was like, sorcerer or wizard is going to work best here. If I'm flying around on a glider, I'm going to need some heavy spellcasting skills. Now, I could have done some other things. Could have done warlock. As long as I was a spellcaster in general, it was fine. And then I went ahead and rolled my stats. Rolled amazingly. And went, all right, well, I knew I was going to do this anyways, so let's just put these stats where they're best. From there, put my stats where I want them. I already had race chosen, background chosen, and class chosen. Before, and then I rolled stats. After I rolled stats, chose spells, and leveled up. And that was pretty much it. I usually go off of character concept. I'm never going to really care what my stats are until I roll them. My favorite thing about character creation is making the character up, and once I've made it up for our party comp, I am done.
Yeah, well, and so I definitely would say that's good to have thought of. So maybe the character creation conversation isn't necessarily one that you just have with your DM. Maybe your DM will run a session 0 and have everyone sit down together and say, all right, these are the things that, Jimmy John, your friend Jimmy John, you guys remember Jimmy John. He really wants to be a rogue. Clive really wants to be a barbarian, and, Timmy really wants to be, a fighter. All right, great. Where's our healing?
Right.
So that's what I think about is typically, all right, what are the gaps missing in this party composition? What do I need to fill?
Yeah.
So definitely. Just as far as what my process that I'd recommend, though, so you roll stats. I choose background first. I like it because it gives me sort of a narrative edge, and your background doesn't necessarily have to dictate your class, but when I pick my background, it gives me my skills already, so I know those 2 skills I'll already have, and then based on that, I'll pick everything else. So I'll do class and race sort of interchangeably, depending. And then I'll finish up the character, pick my spells at the end, of course, because who would pick their spells first?
Nobody.
No, nobody's gonna. Nobody.
An evil man. Would do it.
And he's an evil man.
I have all my spells ready. I don't know what his name is yet, but I got my spells good.
Oh my gosh. No, spells are always the last thing because I change them all the time before I start. Like, before I start, I go, ooh, I don't really want slow anymore. I think I'm going to go with Cone of Cold instead or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, talking about spells, I feel like spells is always the very last thing if they're a spell cast, especially if they're new.
You might even wait till a different character creation session for spells.
Exactly what I was going to say. Often, before you start that first game, it'll be like 20 minutes before, like, hey, so you get 3 spells, pick from this list. You know, it's the very last thing. It's fresh in your mind.
If they're a class that has healing, I will tell them that they need to take Cure Wounds usually.
Well, yeah,
or
you
healing
get,
word.
Well,
You
you get 3 spells, Cure Wounds, and 2 more.
Yeah,
those are your only choices.
Yeah, if they're a new player, I will, and they have healing, I'll go, hey, you need to have a healing spell. This is the one to choose.
Yep, you're good to go.
And then it's like, okay, cool. Or I'll give them the option, between Cure Wounds and Healing Word. Say this one does less healing, but it's from a distance. This one, you touch them, you get more healing.
Yeah, don't be Theron, the only druid in the party, and he didn't take any healing spells. In a party with 2 rogues, a paladin, and a druid.
And eventually a monk.
All of our healing was my 5 points of lay on hands, baby.
That's all you need.
Well, yeah, and when we first started playing D&D, like, those 5 points of lay on hands, it was like 1 point for you, 1 point for you, if you need to get up. And only if you need to get up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I chugged a health potion. Right, when we got done with an encounter, we walked into a room. After a big encounter, I got knocked down in 1 hit because of, I don't know if it was a nat 20 or just a really good roll from a Minotaur skeleton.
Yeah.
But we walk into a room, we fight this thing. I'm going in because I'm a monk and I do bludgeoning damage. And I get knocked out, and I have 1 healing potion on me. And so before we walk into the next room, I go, I'm going to use my healing potion. And I just fucking drink it. And I was like, that was just 50 gold I threw right down the drain for that for that healing potion. But I mean, I needed it because when we got into the encounters later, wow, we still died. So
yeah, I gotta tell you, our DM Lanky Eric, he loved to make things too difficult. Not always his fault, but our first combat ever in our first session, or my first session of D&D, I got crit by a goblin, dropped to 0. That was the first thing that happened in my first combat. And we didn't have any healing potions, and as previously specified, no one took any healing spells. So he said, Theron, you remember that healing potion you had, right?
Yeah.
And then he gave me that healing potion. We didn't know that was a backhanded thing to do at the time, because he played it off really cool. But it might be nice to think about those sorts of things. Not necessarily as a new player. You don't have to be the most proactive. Your first character could die, and then you figure out, oh, well, here's how I can benefit my
imagine
party.
if he killed you in the first session, man.
Oh.
He almost did. He almost did. But, no, he killed me in the 4th session.
Yeah. I've been really good about... So, that's a situation where if it's a first session, first combat ever, if I got a nat 20 like that, I might go like, I don't know about that. Maybe we'll just do a regular hit. like there is a time and a place for a role to be fudged, in that way. Now, I have been really good like in the past year and a half of us playing Avertus stuff, and almost a year actually, of being like, okay, no matter what I do, I don't care what happens, I'll do what the dice say to me. And that is friendly to me sometimes, and sometimes it sucks. Because sometimes I'm just getting back-to-back crits, and sometimes I am rolling nothing but 1s and 4s. But I've been really good about that. And then every now and then, I'll murder a character. And I'll go, sticking to my guns, I'm going to murder a character right now.
Yeah. Can't tell you how many times Lulu almost died. Sure would be confusing how we get through the campaign if she died. I'm not sure what would happen. But it almost has several times.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Lulu dies, though, and then Seth tells us, a new adventurer approaches. And then we just go into, like, the Skyrim customization screen. And
It's
we just get to make, like, Gulu, the flying
The jolly
Aarakocra
face.
rogue.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that you build it on the spot. You build your NPC for the party, That could be cool.
Yeah.
So, maybe this is a silly question, but we talked about the names a little bit before. And I usually do names towards the end once the characters have a good idea of what their creation is. They get into their mindset a little bit. Do you think that having the players pick their character's name in the beginning of the process could maybe get the creative juices flowing to just kind of animate it and make it real?
It definitely could, but I'll say from my experience, naming my character is the hardest part. Honestly, I don't want to just go to a fantasy name generator, but honestly, it does take some of the pain away just to click through some
Or at least for
options until
one,
looks good.
click through them and be like, that word is a nice word,
Yeah.
If nothing else, for some inspiration, you could change it up from there. You don't have to use the whole name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have access to the internet, you can use you can use Xanathar's name table at the back, which is how I named my favorite character to play, Galandon Galandel, because those were both in there. Or it's you know the story.
Yeah.
That's how I named my first character, Xanathar.
It's from the book. Xanathar Tasha.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Everyone just plays the title of the books they're using. Oh
My name is
gosh.
Handbook Player Pandabook.
Yep. Got it in one. This man's a professional.
Really got it down there.
That's akin to the Seth doesn't know anything. Oh man.
Gosh.
Anything else you guys want to cover on character creation? It's a very creative process. I love character creation. Often, first time players get addicted to it. They really like making characters. I got addicted to it at first when I was like, I made my first character. He was cool. He was fun to play, but I could not wait to play another one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I'm just going to make some characters for fun and just have a catalog of them to choose from later, which never works well because then the next premise of your campaign comes up and goes, none of these really fit that. And now you just have a bunch of characters sitting on the back burner. Not that I have that.
I feel like character creation to connect with some people is kind of like the beginning of Minecraft, where you could play Minecraft for like a year and a half. Like, this is great, but I kind of want to start over and just chop a tree.
Right.
I kind of just want to do it again, and you never actually get anywhere. So,
Oh, no, I totally agree.
Have fun with your character creation. Talk to your DM. Make sure you're being creative with it. Put yourself into it. Not your characteristics, but
It's me,
me,
Seth Pittman,
Seth, the
in the
beholder.
game.
Yeah.
I want to be a beholder.
Oh gosh.
We do that campaign that everyone thinks of where it's like, well, we're all ourselves, but we're in D&D. I don't think that'd be very
It's
fun.
an isekai. You get sucked into another universe.
Oh, I'm waiting for the one-off though. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we could do an isekai one-off.
That
I'm
would
into
be
it.
very fun.
Gosh.
Putting that down, patent pending.
Yeah. No one steal my isekai one-off idea.
No one else has done that before.
We'll put it on our Patreon.
Perfect.
That we have. We totally have a Patreon.
We do have one, but it's not really doesn't have anything on it.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to patronize us.
Don't patronize me.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Table Talk Friday. We have an email that you should send us stuff to. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything that you would like to tell us, if you have ideas for episodes, or if you have a cool, crazy-ass D&D story on your mind, send it to us. over at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com. Other than that, I think we'll just let the character take it away.
Give it back! Hello, thank you for listening to Table Talk Friday. For more adventures, check us out at your favorite podcast service. If you have any questions about our travels, you can please send us a sending spell at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com. And otherwise, feel free to stop by next Friday for our next episode. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day.